relatively new to Chorlton Good Neighbours, only a couple of weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm helping Bernard and everybody else with the tech club. And what I'm going to talk about today is the use of Alexa or other kind of virtual assistants like Google or Siri, but in particular Alexa, because Alexa is what I'm familiar with. When my mum was still at home, she lived in Glossop, and when she started to sort of like lose bits of her memory and stuff, I got her an Alexa, and it helped her in her everyday sort of stuff that she needed to do, like listening to music or getting reminders about appointments, or even reminders about taking medication and stuff. So it can be really useful in that aspect. And I've also got an Alexa, and I use it all the time now as well. Just a little bit of stuff. I'll just read a little bit of sort of stuff that needs to be said. So a virtual assistant is a device or an application or a computer that can respond to commands or questions and perform tasks. That's basically what that is. And a smart speaker is a speaker that has a virtual assistant on it, for all intents and purposes. I'll just give you a quick list of the kind of things that I use it for. I use it to set up reminders, so things like remind me to put the bins out every week. Also reminds me which kind of bin to put out, so I've set it up to do that. Calendar entries, so appointments that you might have, like going to the doctors or coming here on a Thursday or any other kind of things. Timers, so put a pizza in the oven, it needs 8 minutes, you can set up a timer and Alexa will remind you, will do a little beep and say your pizza's, go and check on your pizza or whatever it is. You can set alarms for getting up in the morning, or if you have an afternoon nap or anything like that, to wake you up. You can ask it questions, you can ask for recipes, you can ask it to play music. One that's a little bit more complex but also quite useful is home automation, so you can set it up to do certain things for you, and that incurs a bit more of a cost because you have to buy plugs and bulbs and stuff, but things like switching on lights or switching off the TV, that kind of thing. And voice-controlled calling. So, for example, you could ask your Alexa to call somebody without having to actually get your phone out. As long as their contact details are within the Alexa app, then it will do that. That's also quite useful for sort of like emergency situations. So, for example, something happens and you can't get to the phone, but you're in the same room as your Alexa, you could potentially say, Alexa, call, I don't know, Steve. Steve's one of your contacts, and Alexa will call that person. That's quite useful. You can set all of these things up by voice, by saying to Alexa, create a timer, or add an event to my calendar, but you can also set them up remotely, or somebody you trust can set them up remotely. So, for example, at the beginning when I said my mum lived in Glossop and I live here in Chorlton, when I got, say, an email saying that mum had a hospital appointment or a doctor's appointment, I could, from my mobile phone, add that appointment to her Alexa, even though we're 20 miles apart. So, that's also useful if you've got somebody who, a son or a daughter or a family member who lives far away from you, that they can help you set up stuff as well as you doing by voice. There are a number of types of Alexas. This one's fairly old, but it's one that's got a screen on it, which means you get to see stuff on there as well. I'll demo it, and then if anybody wants to sort of take a closer look afterwards, you can come up and have a look at it. I'll talk to you one-to-one. So, for example, I can say something like, Alexa, what's the weather forecast?
Right now in Manchester, it's 9 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun. Throughout the day, you can expect more of the same, with a high of 14 degrees and a low of 6 degrees.
This is the stuff that I'm doing. Alexa, what am I doing tomorrow?
Stephen, tomorrow there is one event. At 7 p.m. there's Gypsy Musical Science Centre.
So that's what I was saying before, that you can add your event. You can do it by adding it specifically by voice. So let's try this one. Alexa, add an event.
Sure, Stephen. What day and time?
Today at 3 p.m.
And what's the name of the event?
shopping.
Okay, I've added it.
So by doing that, Alexa now has an event, and because this one has a screen, on here it shows that I've added that at 3 p.m. till 4 p.m. I'm going shopping, and she will remind me a little bit later on that that's what I'm going to be doing. You can set up timers, so I'm going to set up a timer. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 10:37 a.m.
Alexa, set a timer for 10:39 today.
Alarm set for 10:39 a.m.
What else? So you can also add things like reminders that are daily or weekly or 3 or 4 times a day. So for example, if you have to take medication twice, 2 or 3 times a day, you can set that up, and Alexa will then give you a little bit of a beep, and it will say, Stephen, or whatever your name is, Stephen, it's time to take your medication. I find this very, very useful. I have it all set up, automated in a way with these smart plugs, and I have appliances plugged into them. So that's my alarm that I asked her to set up for 10:39. I was just saying about these smart plugs. So I have a number of these smart plugs. I also have a number of smart bulbs at home, and what that means is, say for example, something that I do most nights, unfortunately, is that I sit in front of the television and I fall asleep. And Alexa will speak to me about 1 o'clock in the morning, and she'll say, Stephen, are you still watching TV? That wakes me up. I go, oh, no, I need to go to bed. I get up and I say, Alexa, good night, and he says, this particular one is a he, says, good night, Stephen, and turns all the lights off, turns the television off, and turns the light up in the lounge, in the hallway, into the bedroom, so that I can get upstairs without having to do it, because I'm half asleep. Really useful, I find. So I think that's probably everything that I was going to cover in this sort of introduction. Are there any questions from anybody? Set it up to use to play music, as in radio stations. So, for example, Alexa, play BBC Radio 2.
Playing BBC Radio 2.
BBC Sounds.
Occasionally, yeah, if the old man allows it.
Alexa, stop.
Solomon King, Where's My Ring? Can you play it for me?
Shuffling She Wears My Ring and similar songs on Amazon Music.
One hit wonder, 1970s.
Do that. Alexa has access to, I think, for free, about 2 million songs. And then if you subscribe to Amazon Music or Amazon Prime, then you get access to about 10 million songs for free. All you need is an internet connection. You do need an internet connection. One of the downsides, of course, about this is that if your internet connection goes down, then it doesn't work. But nowadays, home broadband internet connections are pretty stable, and they very rarely go down. Let me see if I can just demonstrate a call. So, Alexa, call my phone. And that's my Alexa calling me. Alexa, stop. As long as Alexa knows the telephone numbers, which when you set your Alexa up and you use your phone to do that, or somebody does that for you, then it will synchronise the contacts from your phone to the Alexa device.
How much does it cost?
So this one with the screen, I think they go for about £50, £60 nowadays. The smaller ones, the Echo Dot, which I haven't demonstrated. Basically, it's the same without a screen. I think Bernard, did you say?
Yeah, I got one for £20, £20.
One of these small ones, £20. And once you have that and you set it up connected to your Wi-Fi at home, and like I say, you do need Wi-Fi at home in order to do this, then you can use it as a radio. The only difference with that really between the other one is the screen, and I suppose slightly that you get better sound quality on the bigger device because you get better bass and you get full range, whereas this one potentially is a little bit tinny. Let's try. Alexa, hello.
Hi.
So this voice on here is male. Alexa, change your voice.
I have a few voices to choose from. Let's start with 3 in my mind. Here is the second one. There's an official league for rock, paper, scissors. If you want to play sometime, I'm game. Would you like to choose that one or hear about it? Here is the third one.
The current U.S. flag was designed by a 17-year-old as a part of a school project. Wow.
Would you like to choose that one or hear about it?
Alexa, stop. Another thing that I use very often is shopping lists. And I find that very useful because I'm in the kitchen and I open the cupboard and I look, oh, I've got no salt. And I go, Alexa, add salt to my list. And she adds salt to my shopping list. He adds salt to my shopping list. And then you go out shopping and you look at your phone, you've got your Alexa app on there, or you can print it out or send a message, and you do your shopping and you've got your shopping list there. Lots of different applications. The thing about using something like an Alexa or a Siri or a Google is that it can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. So, and the things that are complex at the beginning, once you've had a bit of practice at using it and you get the hang of it, become much easier because you get used to using the technology. If anyone wants to come and have a chat with me at the end, please come along and do so. I'll be able to help you with, hopefully help you with some stuff. And if anyone's interested in sort of like buying one, I'm not selling them, it's not nothing to do with me, but if anyone's interested in buying one, I can give you some advice on where to look for them or give you some information on who else to ask. And if you were to get one and you needed some help setting them up, then I'd always be happy and able to help with that as well. I have a routine in the morning for my Alexa app, and I say, good morning Alexa, good morning, and she tells me what day it is, what time it is, she tells me what the weather forecast is, she tells me what I'm doing for the rest of the day, she tells me a useful fact, sometimes they're not that useful, but anyway, and then switches on the television in the bedroom and the news comes on.
You have to remember that.
Now, as far as so there are many positives in relation to Alexa and virtual assistants, and there are some negative aspects to it. But you can always mute Alexa, which is what I've done here. So Alexa's not listening now; she can't hear what I'm saying. And if you're just having general conversations, I've never experienced what this gentleman's referred to, where I've been talking about something and then when I go into Facebook, it's there. I have experienced having a conversation with people and then going on to Google, and the first thing that comes up is exactly what we've been talking about, but that's possibly, Google that's listening. I don't know. But anyway, in my experience and my opinion, the benefits of using something like this to help people get on with their daily life by far outweighs any negative things about potentially someone listening. But it's up to you guys to make that decision. And as there's no more questions, I will hand you back to this lovely gentleman here. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.